This season, let your shoes do the talking. Designer Shoe Warehouse is packed with fresh styles that speak to your whole vibe without saying a word. From cool sneakers that look good with everything, to easy sandals you'll want to wear on repeat, DSW has you covered. Find a shoe for every you, from the brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, New Balance, and more. Head to your DSW store or visit dsw.com today.
A woman could be madly in love with you, but if she doesn't respect you, she's going to cheat on you eventually. She will leave you eventually. But if she respects you, even if she doesn't love you, but she just has firm respect for who you are as a man, she'll never cheat on you. She won't want to leave you. And it just gives you the upper hand in dating.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily,
the celebratory stories of sugar dating.
Yes, but more of the shocking stories of sugar dating.
If you say so.
All right, so I did get the episode we recorded with Miss Kristen Birdwell out on time.
Good job, sir.
Which I'm very proud of myself. And we talked about your birthday.
We did.
And I thought we'd already be on the plane, but we haven't got on the plane yet. We're almost there.
Not quite.
You leave tomorrow, which is Thursday.
I do. Yeah. I fly out tomorrow, and
of course, they won't be hearing this until next week.
Almost a solid week.
Yeah. So the forecast in New York is crazy. It changes hourly.
I know.
It's unbelievable. Here in Arizona, it's like you can see the 10-day forecast, and it's not going to change. It's 90, 90, 90, 90, or whatever
I keep
it is,
changing
right?
my packing.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I pack warm clothes? Do I pack winter clothes? So I ended up just packing both.
I think when I arrive on Friday, it's going to be like 59 or 60, and then Saturday 80, and then Sunday back down to 51, and then Monday like 48. I don't know. It's just like the weather there is so crazy.
I'd be willing to wager it never gets quite up to 80.
Yeah.
But I'm at least hoping for 70s.
It's still going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are headed off to New York City to celebrate Lily's 55th birthday, 5 plays in 5 days. You will get to hear all about that. But let's talk about another party real quick. If you are not a member of our Patreon, you probably don't know this, but we have big news.
There's another party besides my birthday?
I know. It's hard to imagine there's more than one party a year. But Sugarpalooza 6, I have gotten so many sponsors, and I've got so many people that want to attend. We just secured a third suite at Phoenix Arena now. It's no longer Footprint Arena, but Phoenix Arena, which is where the Suns play, downtown Phoenix. Amazing. And here's the amazing part about Lily. It's right next to the other suite.
That's just perfect.
That is perfect.
Here's my concern.
What's that?
We have so many people coming now. We can't all fit on one party bus.
I know. We're going to have to figure that out. Maybe we'll get that Mormon wagon for the extras.
Get 2 of the smaller party buses.
Yeah. No, we'll
maybe like 30 on each.
There's always some people that end up making their own way to the arena. That happens every time.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll just find out who's going to make their own way there, and maybe, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just kind of squeeze a couple extra people on there. I don't know.
We're going to have to be sneaky because I think that driver counts.
Well, the party bus is a lot of fun, and if you guys want to join us, go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, press on the party tab. We are now increasing it. We are giving away 40 sugar baby packages. It went up from 25. So we're now giving 40 away, which is fantastic.
Which usually would give me anxiety.
Yeah.
But Marcus promised me that he's going to hire party planners and take some of the pressure off me.
and me too. I'm running ragged last party.
Same.
Picking up people from the airport, taking them to the Airbnbs.
Yep.
Trying to arrange everything. Oh my God, it was craziness. So I am going to hire 1 or 2 people to actually party plan and take care of all the the details because I just want to enjoy this party. It's going to be fun.
That's probably the best birthday present you could have ever given me.
And me. So anyway, what it includes, you got to get here now. So you got to find your way to Phoenix. But if you can get here, it'll be 3 days and 2 nights of accommodations. I just booked 3 more Airbnbs today. So now we have, including my own, let's see, 6, 7, 8, like 8 or 9 Airbnbs.
Damn.
Crazy. That's a lot.
That's a lot of distribution of sugar babies.
But we're going to need them. And they're all in South Scottsdale, minutes, like literally minutes from Old Town if you want to hang out there during your time off. Minutes from my house. It's minutes from the airport. It's really cool. Good locations. So it includes the lodging. It includes the mixer at the country club where we'll have a lot of fun. A bartender there, drinks and food, DJ, dance floor, photo booth, which is, I can't believe how popular the photo booth is.
Everybody loved it, especially the girls.
I know they do some really cool things, and they email the photos right to you, so it's really cool and fast. And then the next day we're gonna have that pre-party at my house around 4:30, where the party bus or buses will pick us up, take us down to downtown to the private suites for Shakira, where we're also gonna have a bartender, which is really nice.
That's right.
Because we have the owner's suite. Mm-hmm. I've gotten in good with. I've booked so many parties there now. I've gotten in good with the suite manager.
Do they smoke you a deal at all?
They don't smoke me a deal, but they give me a good location. I mean, yeah, actually, he did. He smoked me a good deal for this concert. I forgot about that. Yeah, when he upgraded us to the owner's suite, and then the party bus will bring us back. And we'll have an after party. It's just party. It's a great weekend.
The next morning, everyone will be hungover for brunch.
We'll have brunch, and then
might need to get an IV hydration.
Yeah, we'll probably have those available too. Anyway, if you want to apply, go like I said to the website, and then if you're a Patreon member, you are going to get priority judging, and it's free to become a Patreon member. We do have tiers that help support the show as low as $10 a month. And then, of course, if you want coaching and profile reviews, we have those available too. A lot of people sign up for the upper tiers, and then we never really hear from them. They just want to be big supporters of the show, and we really appreciate that.
We sure do.
Lily's expensive. She's just sent me a bill.
I feel that I'm not that expensive.
Oh my God, I got your bill for March already.
I can only imagine how much you're going to have to pay these party planners. And you only pay me $25 an hour. So
well, you do it out a labor of love.
It is a labor of love.
Hey.
It's a labor of something.
Yeah. You've met so many great people, though.
I have.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun. Okay. We have a guest. Let's get to our guest because I have so many questions. I went through, a divorce, and I had to get back in the dating scene, and I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. Like, I started swiping. I wasn't getting anywhere. I was having terrible luck. No success at all. I finally got on Seeking where I was using my cheat code. I did make some connections and relationships, but I didn't do well with those, and I didn't navigate them well, and they didn't go that as well as I thought they would. So after a hard breakup, I dove in, started doing a lot of research on relationships, on women, on feelings, on how men should act, how women should act. Kind of got my shit figured out much better than I did. And I really appreciate people that have knowledge about this because I didn't before. And we have a guy in who's an actual dating coach out of California who's traveling through Arizona. So he popped in the studio. Welcome, James Devon.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Now, you have your own podcast. It's called?
Yes, I do. It's the JD Show.
The JD Show. So check that out. So you're in Arizona. How did you find us? I forget.
That's a good question. One of your reels came up on my feed.
Okay.
Might have been an algorithm thing.
Yeah, sure.
But I forget which one is talking about something related to sugar daddy life, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then I dropped a comment mentioning, I can relate to this because I run this agency in California. Mm-hmm. And then you replied to that, like, hey, next time you're out in Scottsdale, come on the show. So sure
absolutely.
Enough, here I am.
Mean, I think this would be so relevant to everything that we do. So give us a little background on you before we get into a lot of great stories and some great advice.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a 10-year Marine Corps veteran. I was a Force Recon Marine. It's one of the special operations components in the Marine Corps. I used to be married. I have 2 children. Essentially, while I was active duty, I went through a crazy, nasty divorce, which resulted in a lot of false allegations made by my ex-wife, trying to get the upper hand in child custody, spousal support, stuff like that. And because I was a top secret security clearance holder, being in that level position of government, when an accusation, as baseless as it may be, when it comes your way, it has major implications that can just devastate your career, which is exactly what happened to me. So I went from being the youngest promoted staff NCO in the entire 1st Marine Division, getting ready to do a 3-year stint over somewhere in the South China Sea. Can't say where exactly.
Okay.
But that was all thrown away overnight. So I had to get into entrepreneurship. That was the only way left for me to really come out on top, because I had my wages garnished. So I basically had no money in my bank account. She took everything, and I was living homeless on base as an active duty Marine. Too senior to be able to live in the barracks, but no money to afford my own place.
What a tough spot.
Living in parking lots in my truck, and then eventually my travel trailer on the Marine Corps base in California. I needed to figure out how to get out of this mess. So naturally, I've always been very good with women, and right after,
Except for your wife.
except for the wife, yeah. So you could argue I might not be so great with having long-term relationships, even though I've had a few pretty good ones. But yeah, the woman that I married, that ended in disaster. But it's really easy for me to get some girlfriends. So I started dating multiple different women, and even as a guy living homeless on base, I was still bringing in women like almost daily. So that kind of helped me build a network of young, attractive, amazing women. And I started a small OnlyFans agency. So that right there is what kind of bumped me out of poverty, getting me back on my feet, eventually recovering.
So you were helping these women with their OnlyFans accounts?
Yes.
Yeah, one of my previous co-hosts, she not only was on OnlyFans, but she was also doing that as just had a small agency, kind of like.
Yeah, a lot of women these days try OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So that's a way for me to, get back on my feet, get some money in the pocket. But that was short-lived. I didn't really enjoy OnlyFans, managing a bunch of women, doing various different content. I personally didn't like it. A lot of other men might think, oh, that's an awesome job. You just get to see a bunch of naked chicks all the time for free and make money off of it.
No, it's much more than that.
How would the Marine Corps react if they'd known you were managing an OnlyFans agency?
They didn't react to it, but honestly,
they knew?
I don't think they knew. I mean, someone had to have known. But
Okay.
Never came back my way. Plus, I didn't really care at that point. I felt screwed by the military. So I'm like, I'm going to do what I can. But eventually I left the OF industry, built a private security company, complete opposite. So that was like my first major business, making like real serious money. And this woman that I was seeing at the time, she like told me back when we were first like starting to date, she'd tell me little stories. Like she had some designer bags and stuff. And she would be like, oh yeah, my sugar daddy got this for me. And this was like before we were exclusive or anything. I'm like, whoa, red flag, sugar daddy. What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, don't worry. I don't like sleep with him. Like he just buys me stuff. I'm like,
which happens.
It does happen.
Yeah. People ask me, do I have to have sex with those men? I'm like, well, there's plenty of cases they're not.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, over a long period of time, like getting to know this woman, like in the beginning, she had like 3 or 4 platonic sugar daddies that were just buying her random stuff. Like she'd have a new pair of sunglasses and like fancy clothes. And sure enough, not sleeping with any of them. So time goes by, private security company ends up flopping. So no more money. I'm thinking, man, I need to figure out something new now because private security business is tough.
Maybe did you consider being a sugar baby yourself?
So for men, I feel like it doesn't really benefit you the same way as a pretty woman, just because I feel like men naturally want to simp for, young, beautiful women, but they're not going to be inclined to simp for men. So the girl that I was dating actually created me a Seeking account. She's like, you should try it, but it never works. You know, like no one ever offered to just buy me free gifts.
You couldn't find you a sugar mama?
Hey, if I could find a sugar mama, hey, I'm all about it. You know?
I know, right?
That never came my way.
Yeah, those are unicorns.
But yeah, after the security company flopped, I'm thinking like, what's a new way to make money? And then I thought about her stories. I'm like, thinking back to a period when I was running OnlyFans, I had one chick who had some crazy fans obsessed with her. And one guy actually lived close by, and he offered to pay her $2,000 to go have dinner, platonic dinner. He's like, I'm not going to try to touch you, hit on you. I just want you to have dinner. Eventually we agreed to it. And the terms were like, okay, we'll split it 50-50. Like he's going to give you $2,000 cash. I'll go chill out at the bar casually and just make sure nothing weird goes on, like no drugging in the drink, or I don't know what could happen, but I'll make sure you're safe. And so I thought back to that moment, because that was the first time I ever like set up a paid dinner arrangement. And I'm thinking, like, how do you meet these sugar daddies? Asking my girlfriend. And she's like, oh, this website called Seeking Arrangements. I'm like, really? There's a whole website for this?
Yes, there
I'm
is.
like, do you still have an account? She went and looked, didn't have an account. I'm like, here, create a new account. I want to see something. So she like, just creates a new account, and I go on there. I'm like, oh my God, like scrolling. These are all men that would definitely pay for dinner dates. No way. And then sure enough, after like 24 hours of having her account created, and again, at the time, she was like 21 years old. She was 5'9", 5'10", so like tall, slender, beautiful model. And her inbox was full, hundreds of messages. I'm just like, oh my God, wow. Okay, so I created like a generic copy and paste message like, hey, I'd love to, meet you, get to know you. Like, how about we start with dinner? Then eventually that'd get into exchanging phone numbers, and then I'd text on her cell phone like, hey, let's set up dinner, like $1,000. And eventually this became a whole agency where I hired third-party like chatters.
Wow. So hold on. Man, my head just exploded. So basically, you're taking your OnlyFans model where you're answering their DMs, right? Because like when Kimmy was doing OnlyFans, the men DMing her weren't talking to her. They were talking to the agency that was managing her for the 30% cut or whatever.
Well, they thought they were talking to her, but
they thought they
weren't.
were.
So you were doing the same thing,
So
but
you're
on
basically
Seeking.
doing the same thing.
Exactly. I basically took what I learned from managing an OF agency
this is great.
and applied it to Seeking Arrangements.
Okay.
And it made way more money than OF. Way more.
Really?
That's
Because my agency fees for Seeking Arrangements is 50%. So I set up one girl on $1,000 dinner date. That's $500 for either myself or a member of my chat team, just typing away, setting up the date.
Now, how many girls were you managing on Seeking?
So it started off with just my girlfriend. Her alone, she was averaging about $30K a month just from going on platonic dinner dates. I'm taking 50%. Eventually, we got one of her friends into it, and then another. And then girls talk, right? Eventually word spreads like, hey, you need to talk to James because I just went out to dinner with this guy and made $500. And she explained the concept and everything like that. And so eventually, once we had more women working with the agency, I created an LLC for it, like started getting everything like under contract. I had a lawyer review it, make sure everything's like legal, because there is like the gray zone territory with sugar babying where it can be perceived as like prostitution. So basically my contracts state like the women working for my agency are strictly not allowed to solicit. It's classified more as atmosphere modeling work. That's like the legal terms my lawyer
Yeah, I met
drafted
an
up.
atmosphere model in Vegas. That's what she literally had in her profile.
Right. So legal terms. But I don't ride any of the gray
AKA
territories.
arm candy.
Yeah.
Arm candy. Yeah, that's one way to put it too. But yeah, I don't ride any of the gray territories. I make sure like, any girls that are working for my agency, if I even get a sniff that they're actually sleeping with somebody, I have to cut them off because that's when it can get illegal.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Okay, but here is, the dilemma is like,
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
it's our cheat code. Men are paying for their company to meet them. Like, podcast fanboy paid Lily $1,000 just to meet her and have lunch with her. That's all. That's all he was expecting, and that's all she was expecting. But then we got to really like him. And then they started dating and went on trips together, and it evolved into something more.
Right.
So
that happens all the time.
Okay. So then how do you manage your girls after that? Because now there is sex involved.
I've actually had a girl marry a sugar daddy that she met off the site. Mm-hmm. So once I found out she started actually dating this dude, I had to cut her off from the agency because this is a business, so I have to make sure I'm in the right zone in terms of the law. I don't want any risk whatsoever. So by all means, she's free to go do that. I'm just not going to manage you anymore.
Mm-hmm. You're out of the stable.
Exactly.
How many girls at a time did you have in your stable on average?
So right now we're averaging, I think I got 13 or 14 girls right now. Honestly, if you got just 3 really solid girls who know how to play the game themselves, even help manage some of the chats, because a lot of these guys they want to hop on verification FaceTimes, verification calls, which myself or a chat person can't do. So they have to step in at that point. So just with 3 girls who are just down to quit their job and go on full-time paid dates and help with the FaceTimes and whatnot, those girls easy $30K a month, each of them. So you're making a lot just from 3 really solid chicks. Most of the women right now that work for my agency are super part-time basis. Maybe they'll get 1 dinner a month because they're not doing the FaceTime verification. So I and my chat team aren't putting as much effort into them.
Now, you have to be in a very populated area because you're going to cycle through a lot of men.
Yes. So the top places for this business is going to be LA and Orange County. So that part of Southern California. Orange County, I would say even more so than LA itself, just because of the different demographic of money that's out there. Orange County is more high class, old money style sugar daddies, where LA girls are showing up to stuff for free all the time. So it's a little harder to negotiate, but still there are plenty of opportunities out there. And then second place, I'd have to say is either tied between Miami and New York, but regardless, those are my top 3 places. So LA, Miami, New York. Scottsdale, I've tried. No luck in Scottsdale.
No go.
Now I'm curious why.
Men out here just seem to not want to pay. And if they do pay, their expectations are okay, I'm going to do 500 ppm, but I need to fuck you at least 3 times in one night, or you have to, suck my dick twice, weird stuff like that. And I'm okay, yeah. There's
all the dirty dogs.
Wait a minute. That's
Arizona.
That's not universal. That's location, basically. I would think that would be at any of the cities.
Well, yeah, so
those guys.
You're going to get a large mix in the big cities that I mentioned of guys who are only down for an arrangement if it's guaranteed sex, right? So we figure out who those ones are, we weed them out, and we just don't talk to them.
Okay, so you've got 13, 14 girls. You aren't possibly monitoring every one of these dates like you did for your girlfriend on that first date.
So we contract private security to discreetly watch these women while they're on their date. So these women are getting guaranteed safety while they're on their date too, and pay to contracted security guards $20-$30 an hour. A dinner date's on average hour and a half. So pretty much nothing out of the agency's pocket for them to have that. But the security guy is there to make sure nothing sketchy happens and that the girl's following the rules too.
Wow.
So
this is mind-boggling to me.
Well, I know it's mind-boggling, but mimics an escort agency, doesn't it?
So escorting like is legal in Las Vegas, right? Where women are like actually sleeping with them. So, I mean, I guess some people could consider it escorting, but the key thing is with this agency is there's no physical interaction.
Yeah. Well, a lot of escort companies, they go under the guise that there's no, it's just somebody, a date to an event.
Right. So they go under the guise that there isn't. So for me, in my agency, there is no guise. It is exactly what I say it is. Mm-hmm. And that's what women really appreciate, because every single hot model out in LA, like, they are already on seeking arrangements themselves. They're already sleeping with an old guy they don't want to sleep with so they can pay the rent, right? So when they come across me, they're like, oh, wow, James is like my savior. Like, he's actually a good guy. He's not like having women sleep with old men that they don't want to. He's just setting up the paid dinners.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I also read on your Insta that you're the #1 dating coach in California.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So that's something that I stumbled into through just networking. I also have a atmosphere modeling agency too. So kind of goes side by side with the seeking arrangements agency. But essentially atmosphere modeling is getting the hot chicks to show up to parties and get paid for it. Mm-hmm. So I was doing that for a while too. And at one event, like, I'm always showing up to events with multiple hot women. So naturally, men of much higher status, much higher wealth than I have are like, whoa, who's this guy showing up with all these hot chicks? And then eventually I had one guy come up to me, Tony, little like round, I guess you could say. He's on the obese side, and he just wanted to pick my brain, talk about women. He was dating this girl that he's like paying for her whole life. He's super wealthy. He owns properties like all over the US. And he's essentially asking me, like, how do I tell like if she's just here for the money or if she's actually here for me? And this is probably the dilemma of most sugar daddies is, where's the boundary? Like, if I stop paying her, is she going to lose interest? Right. So
our guy, Jay, our good friend, Jay, struggles with this constantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Many do. I would say like almost all sugar daddies, this is their biggest struggle. Right. So even though Tony, I don't think he was a sugar daddy, I think he was trying to actually date this woman, but he was just paying for her lifestyle, which is kind of what sugar daddies do. And so after a long conversation, he was like, do you like help guys with dating like professionally? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, I wasn't a dating coach at that time yet, but that turned me into a dating coach, because he asked me like, oh, how much would you charge to coach me? And I never even thought about this before. I'm like, how do I calculate this in my head? I just threw out $10,000 will get you 3 months of dedicated one-on-one coaching with me. And he's like, deal. So we swapped WhatsApp, and then got in touch afterwards. And that was my first coaching deal.
So what's your #1 dating advice for these men who are having trouble finding a girl to date who is truly interested in them? How do you cut through the riffraff and find the girls who are genuinely interested in you?
So first, you have to understand money truly doesn't matter. The most women that I've ever slept with in my entire life was when I was broke and homeless. I was bringing on multiple girls to the base just to go have a quick hookup, like almost daily. There's this one point in time where because you have to like escort girls onto the base because of security reasons. So you have to like meet them at the gate. The gate security guards are there. I literally had back-to-back Tinder dates set up, girls just coming to hook up. And I pick them up at the gate, go do my thing, drop them off, and then meet the next one like 2 minutes after. And the gate guards are like, bringing this girl on next?
Yeah,
but
like, you got game though. You got game.
Exactly.
And you've got.
So let's talk about that, because again, that's a great example of I was broke, didn't really have anything, but I've built this career out, right? Like, I'm already very high level in the military, especially like with my job that I did. So that adds just this aura about you, because I've worked on myself, like constantly being in the gym, getting into shape, socializing, working on who I am at my core. Right now I have a lot of money, but if you take that away, I'm still the same person because I put a lot of work into myself. So any man, regardless of how wealthy he is, if you put the work in to getting yourself in shape, developing your social circle, being able to just have a good conversation with women, it'll go a long way. You'll get endless women if you just work on yourself.
Yeah, I agree. When I was going through my big breakup, I took a course and you may have, he's a dating coach, Brad Browning out of I think he's out of Canada. And basically his message was the same as all the other dating coaches. You need to take time to become a better version of yourself. And here's what you got to do. You need to get yourself in shape. Okay. We all can do that. We can eat better and we can go to the gym. The gyms are everywhere, or you can even do a home gym, but you got to do something to make yourself better. And then you've got to educate yourself, become interested in something, and YouTube is a great source of that. And then all of a sudden you start gaining some confidence, and then the girls can see the confidence. Whereas when I went through my breakup, somehow I let her get control of the relationship, and I was like at her whim, and I was just a poor puppy that was being kicked around, and I just took it. And I was like, I would never do that now, ever. So that
is all too common for a lot of men.
Yeah, it's very common.
So there's two sides of dating, right? There's being able to get women, and then there's being able to retain women. Mm-hmm. So you can fake it all you want and get endless women. But if you want to retain those women, even retain one woman, you actually have to be it. So you can lie and say, oh yeah, I'm a neuro brain surgeon, when in reality you work at Starbucks. Like, oh, I have so much more money than I really do. Like, oh, I'm so cool and social. Like, yeah, that'll bring them into the bedroom for the first night, first week. But what happens when you start seeing them? What happens when they start being involved in your life? The truth is going to come out. So you can't fake it. You actually have to be that guy. And women will stay around. Even if you are sleeping with other women, if you do all the right things, like, they won't want to leave you.
And here's the issue that we run in, and she was talking about our friend Jay. We use our cheat code, which is the money, to entice women to give us an opportunity. Like I did a meet and greet last night with a 23-year-old, and she showed up, and she was fantastic. Like, no way in hell I would have ever matched with her on Bumble or Tinder, or she would have showed up. Of course, she has that little carrot dangling over her head that, hey, this is going to be worth it for her, even if I'm horrendous. She's at least going to be compensated a little bit for her time just for the meet and greet. Now, the issue is, how do we get them to stay, right? We had a great conversation, and she's already messaged me back and said, oh my God, I could listen to your stories all day, or because I gave her, I've gone through a lot of things, and I can see her struggling. She's moved to the new city, and she's trying to gain footing, and she's entrepreneurial. She's got her own little business, and she's running it out of her home. I love that. I love mentoring, and I love helping people become successful. It's not all about the sex. Do I eventually want to move it that direction? Of course I do. I'm a sexual being, and I'm attracted to people, the ones that I'm attracted to, and hopefully they would reciprocate. Could I have done that, right after my divorce? No. There's just no way I could have gotten there. So the coaching like that you offer, and that's out there available too, that you can find on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, is so valuable. But what we're finding is, a lot of these sugar daddies don't want to put in the time and the effort to get there.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Nerds! Today's episode is sponsored by Smart Travel, a new podcast from NerdWallet. Smart Travel doesn't just cover points and miles. They break down all the financial aspects of your trip, whether that's the best days to book, how to avoid hidden fees, or which fancy travel credit cards pay off, and which ones are just an expensive flex. If you want your travel budget to work harder, then dive into the best deals, products, services, and more with Smart Travel from NerdWallet, wherever you get your podcasts.
So that's a very common thing that I come across, is men not actually wanting to put in the effort. Now, when it comes to my dating coaching, I'm doing majority high ticket. I actually did recently launch my ebook. You could get it for $7. Link's going to be available shortly in my Instagram bio. So everyone can have access to the information that I teach for $7. But when I first started, it's catered only to wealthy men, because wealth and having money does change the dating dynamic, right? Mm-hmm. It's a great attraction factor. Like, you have a Lamborghini, women are going to be interested. Like, what does this guy do to have the Lamborghini, even if he's not already like attractive, right? But that also comes back to the factor of being able to retain women, because even if you do have all the nice cars and all that, like eventually, if your personality isn't it, like you're not in the gym, like maybe they'll stay, but they won't have respect for you, which respect is the number one thing you must have in order to retain a woman. A woman could be madly in love with you, but if she doesn't respect you, she's going to cheat on you eventually. She will leave you eventually. But if she respects you, even if she doesn't love you, but she just has firm respect for who you are as a man, she'll never cheat on you. She won't want to leave you. And it just gives you the upper hand in dating. So yeah, with money, it's easy to attract, but you still have to work on the other factors too.
Right.
Like, how can you get a woman to respect you? A lot of men, especially like in the sugar daddy space, genuinely have good hearts, and they love spoiling a woman. They love being their mentor, taking care of them. Like, oh, hey, baby girl, I understand you just lost your job. You can't make your car payment. Let me take care of that for you. That's great. That is awesome. I really respect those guys that do that. I myself want to do those things too, but I also understand that if I just openly spoil a woman who is not fully deserving of it, she's not going to respect me. So I also teach men how to build a frame and retain that frame while they're dating women, because women will constantly test a man's frame. They'll constantly test to see where the weak points are, how they can take control of that relationship. Because naturally in dating, there's a constant back and forth of who's going to have control. And I would say in the modern dating space, most of the time, women definitely dominate in that field. They're able to get the upper hand. They're able to have control because men let their frame come down and allow the woman to take over. So it's a constant battle of being able to maintain your frame. But if you can do that and you can show the woman that you're trying to be with long term that that frame is not breakable, like it'll be tested repeatedly. But if you never just give up and allow her to take over, she is going to have endless respect for you.
Okay, so the person that controls the relationship is the person who cares the least. Now, I may care for somebody, but if she cares for me more than I do, care for her, or that I let on, then basically I control the relationship. It's just a fact. Mm-hmm. So if men are simping over a woman, they're giving them everything they want, and they're like, oh, baby, anything for you? What can I do? You know, blah, blah, blah. She controls the relationship because the man's actually caring more than her, because she could just like treat him badly and he's still going to be there. Men have to be willing to walk away.
Exactly. That right there, what you just said is key. If you want a successful long-term relationship, generally speaking, the man has to care less, because look at modern day statistics. Divorce rates at an all-time high. It's well above 50%. And of those who are getting divorced, it's like 80-something% of those divorces are initiated by women. Mm-hmm. So we can see from data that women are already more likely to leave relationships. There's also data that shows that when a couple splits up, women are far more likely to find a replacement partner well before the man is. So women have the upper hand in dating right now. So if she's like thinking that she could walk all over you, she's not going to be too worried about leaving that relationship, because she knows she could replace you pretty quick. But if you can somehow swap that dynamic, because men put up with so much shit to stay with their woman. I would say us men, we're far more loyal than a woman is.
Well, it's the scarcity mindset. So when I was in my 20s, I had a very hard time dating, because the girls that I was attracted to were dating the older guys, right? And they just didn't want a 25 or 28-year-old, right? And I hadn't accomplished anything. So I was having a really hard time. I found this beautiful girl who was interested in me. We actually got engaged, and I was putty in her hands because I did not want to lose her. It was so hard to find somebody. I found this girl. I was ready to marry her, and it was a disaster. And she ended up treating me so badly, and we ended up breaking up. And I was devastated, and I literally didn't date for years. I mean, I tried to, but I just couldn't find anybody that I was interested in. Now, fuck it. Like, women are everywhere. If you're not going to be compatible with me and we're not going to have a great time and you're going to treat me badly, I'm moving on. You cannot have the scarcity mindset. You've just got to be able to walk away and move on. And then what happens? They always come back. It's the craziest thing. And Alejandra, we talk about it all the time, and I'll show her messages like, look, so-and-so just messaged me after 3 months. Like, I walked away from her, and now she's wanting to see me. It's the crazy. We're in an open relationship. So that's why I show her this, and she is too. And we just kind of go back and forth and talk about relationships because it's so funny.
Now, is it open on both ends or just yours?
No, it's open on both ends.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
For now.
So what is your book called?
The Elite Dating Playbook. So you can access the full playbook, which goes really in depth into pretty much every factor that you would need to learn how to successfully attract women and how to successfully retain women. And then I also offer the crash course version, which is basically a condensed form of the long book. A lot of men, again, don't want to put in a ton of time into developing themselves, right? Which that's what the Elite Dating Playbook is meant for. Those men who are truly committed to self-development, where the crash course, you get a lot of those tips in there, but it also give you some simple, quick and easy guides just to be able to
Okay, so
get some women, get some numbers.
After 3 months of one-on-one coaching with Tony, did he find a solid relationship? Did he improve himself? Did he get better?
So he did lose about 80 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So
Good
he
start.
went really hard. He did kind of like give up a little bit because the woman that he was really trying to go for was a single mom, younger. I mean, she was still attractive, but she was really emotionally draining. And he just did not want to walk away and let that go.
Oh man, no thanks.
He went against all of my advice in that department, which I think overall just kind of killed his motivation. So he did improve a lot. He lost a lot of weight, definitely built up some confidence, but because of how all the negative energy that was created from putting so much focus on this one woman, it just killed it for him.
Yeah, and that's the other problem as we run into is, okay, so as a sugar daddy, I'm getting above average women responding to my offers or my messages. Like, I'll message somebody on Seeking that, again, I would have no chance in hell getting on a regular site, and they're responding to me, and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm going out with an absolute bombshell. If we go out and we have a great time, then men start putting so much pressure to get her committed to him so quickly, it scares them off. So that's another problem that we're finding that the sugar daddies have, is that a lot of them really do want a relationship and they want to find the love of their life, and they're using their cheat code to attract them. And these girls, of course, they're kind of playing a role in the beginning. They want to get paid, they want to get the money, so they're going to be as nice and as funny and as charming as they can be for the most part to keep him interested, and so he instantly falls in love.
Yeah,
and
that's a very common occurrence.
We gotta
I've
slow
seen
down, man.
fall in love with some of these women that I've set up on the dinners. Like, they never even held hands before. I've had men talking about, if I bought you a ring and proposed, would you say yes? Like after like
Lily's had it. Happened to her a lot.
So many times.
Like, literally, guys writing her checks for $20,000, and she barely knows them, and she's like, "Thanks, but."
Yeah, so I say
Crazy.
In general, like, women have to be the ones asking for the commitment in the relationship.
Yeah.
Because women have way more options, right? And women know they have way more options. Like, even as an average woman, like a 5, okay body, face, passable, nothing special, right? She has way more options than I do, being in shape, having good money, having an image online. The average chick still has way more options than me. So this is another thing that men have to realize, is women will always have more options. So if you're begging for the relationship, begging for the commitment, even if they may want that with you, it just kind of turns them off, because they're like, oh, I got these other guys who don't give me the time of day. Like, how come they're not begging for a relationship? But this guy is. It's like fucks with their brain a little bit. And I see so many guys beg for the relationship. And then even my buddy that I came out here with, he's been telling me about this one girl who has a sugar daddy, won't commit to him because she likes getting $20K a month by sucking this old dude's dick like however many times a week, right?
Wow.
And he's constantly begging. I see their text messages and I could just tell she is losing more and more interest every time the guy brings up the subject.
Yeah.
And that's the case for most men out there in that situation.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Some people follow the rules, but where's the fun in that? I'm Soraya, and this is Rule Breakers, the podcast where we celebrate the rebels, the risk takers, and the ones who make their own way. Every week, I sit down with the boldest voices in sports, entertainment, and beyond to talk about breaking barriers, defying expectations, and rewriting the rules. No limits, no apologies, just real talk. Follow and listen to Rule Breakers with Soraya, an Odyssey podcast available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
So, James, what do you think went wrong in your marriage?
Oh, I could tell you exactly what went wrong in my marriage.
Were you deployed a lot?
I was away from home a lot, but that's not the reason why it ended. I'll tell you why. It's because I was a huge cheater.
Oh.
And I could never get away with wanting to fuck other chicks. And I didn't even want to marry this woman, first off, so that's another aspect.
Was she knocked up?
Too. She was knocked up, exactly.
Oh,
I did the
gosh.
classic Marine Corps move. Knock up the girl you start dating, and I'm like, oh, man, like, I don't believe in abortion, like, you know, especially if I get someone knocked up. I mean, thoughts pass through my mind, like, oh, it might be easier, but nah, like, just my personal beliefs. I don't care if other people have abortions. I'm not going to want my own child to be aborted. So I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. Like, I'll raise children with you. Wasn't really that into her, but decided to get married, like, move in together, do all that BS. But I didn't really want to be with her because I've never been the monogamous type of guy. So over cheating and getting caught, because men get caught super easy.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Women are really good at lying and not getting caught. Men, we're terrible. As soon as we like get some confrontation, we lose it all. And yeah, so I got caught multiple times, and eventually it built up so much resentment and hatred from her towards me.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to hang in there. I was miserable the last couple years of being with that woman, but her resentment just blew up. And that's when she decided to go revenge cheat herself and then make all those false allegations to completely destroy me at every possible cost.
Let me ask you this, because I was in a similar marriage where my husband just loved cheating, just loved getting with other women. But if I were ever to have reciprocated and cheated on him, even though we were hanging in there and trying to work through it, the minute I had done it, it would have been over. So did you have a different perspective or attitude toward her revenge cheating than you did toward yourself cheating? Because he certainly did.
So I had like a moment of relief almost.
Oh, really?
When I initially found out that she cheated, because since like she caught me for the first time, like we're talking like a 2-year period after, she made my life hell and like made me miserable for cheating, and is constantly like, oh my God, like I just can't catch a break. So when she cheated, I'm like, phew, hey, like,
thank God, now we're even.
Now we're even.
I know
But
exactly how that feeling.
at the same time, I felt utterly disgusted, and any attraction that was left was instantly gone. So even though I did feel that moment of relief, like, okay, we're even, maybe like she'll get off my fucking back now.
Yeah.
But there's zero attraction left. And this is actually something that I learned later down the road, is cheating is completely different between men and women. Men, when we cheat, we're not looking to replace the woman that we're with. We're not looking to break her heart. We feel fucking terrible when we get caught because she's so sad. She's crying. We're like, oh my God.
You just want to get a little strange.
Yeah, we're just trying to get her nut off. You know,
Yeah.
like, go bang a chick. We never even think about her again. Where when women cheat, they put so much time and thought into it. Most of the time when women are cheating, they're thinking about possibly replacing their partner. So that tells you right there is a huge difference. Men, we don't cheat because we want to leave our woman. We just want some different pussy. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's what I keep
A little
trying
variety.
I keep trying to convince Alejandra of that. But she doesn't buy it 100%, but
Well,
anyway.
I'll tell you right now, this is how you can date multiple women as a man, with them being loyal to you. So them not fucking anyone else, but you get to fuck other people. You tell them that straight from the start. It'll blow their mind. This last relationship that I was in, we dated for nearly 2 years. The only reason why we separated is because she had some mental health issues from some childhood trauma that she needed to go work on by herself. Other than that, this was like the most wholesome relationship that I ever had. And actually for that first year of that relationship, from the very beginning, I told her, I'm not a monogamous guy. I've never in my life been in a relationship and felt like I wanted to be monogamous. So if you want the relationship side of me and I'm going to date you, if I'm buying you diamonds on your birthday, taking you on holidays and stuff, like giving you the actual relationship, I'm still going to have sex with other women. But if you have sex with other men, you're more than welcome to. I'm just not going to give you the relationship. We could be hookup buddies, and that's it. She didn't want to have sex with other men.
Really?
Because she was truly in love with me, and she respected me so much, the thought of another guy even touching her was repulsing. And we stuck around for a long time. And actually, that same woman made me want to be monogamous. So I was monogamous with her for the last year of our relationship.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's kind of the reverse psychology of the whole thing.
I never thought that would happen.
Yeah.
Like, I truly believed. I'm just not a monogamous type of guy.
Yeah.
But that woman's heart was so genuine, and the love that we had was so pure, and the respect that she showed me, like, it's not like we still had like a couple threesomes and stuff like that during that period. So I did get some other pussy, but I didn't like want to go out without her to be with another chick. It was super weird. So yeah, I was monogamous for a year.
There you go. So let's talk about your podcast a little bit. What kind of content are you exploring on there?
Yeah, so we host 2 different niches of episodes. So Monday, we host Mastermind Mondays. So we're bringing in interesting entrepreneurial guests or subject matter experts, like we've had on some actors, scientists, whatever, like specialty doctors. And we kind of talk about either their specialty or like how they make money. So, money talk. So it helps people who are interested in getting into certain fields or getting into entrepreneurship, like just learn knowledge of how to do things in many different fields. And then on Thursdays, we host a date night Thursday episode. So we bring on dating relationship experts, models who are in the dating scene, in the sugar daddy space, nightlife, and we have different conversations based around dating and relationships.
Sounds fun. Hey, I want some advice from you here. I got this message today I run some Airbnbs. And I met this kid. He was a little bit down on his luck. He was 25. We didn't get into very much. I was very busy. I didn't get to talk to him. He sends me this message this morning right before I came to the studio. And I gave him an answer, but I'm curious to hear what your answer is. He says, hey, I know you're a busy man, so I don't want to bother you, but I was just wondering if you'd be able to give me feedback or advice that you'd give your former 25-year-old self. Given your status and success, what is the most important advice you'd give yourself? I'm personally going through some things personally and professionally, and I stayed at your place in order to get away for a day or two. It was very comfortable, and it gave me lots of space to ponder. How would you answer this, young man?
Yeah, so
Your 25-year-old self, what advice would you give him?
So I would say the things that you think are devastating, that are completely life altering. And I've gone through some crazy fucking shit in my time. Like, I've almost died numerous times just in training in the Marine Corps. Like, I've almost drowned. I've gone into cardiac arrests, like seizures and stuff, like just from the level of training they put you through in my job field. So I've almost died many times. And then on the life side of things, I've had my life completely ruined, career devastated. I was facing 30 years in prison with the accusations my ex-wife made. Having my name slandered online. You know, I still get people trying to like do hit pieces on me once in a while. And this, like, when I first went through it with the ex-wife, I was suicidal. I was this close to wanting to blow my brains out, but I had an epiphany from God. He came down and spoke to me last minute, and that completely changed my entire outlook on life. So those things that you think are just devastating, it's not going to matter years down the road. If you are disciplined and you do the right things every single day. So that's going to be making healthy life choices, getting rid of fast food and drinking soda that's going to cause health issues or cancers 20, 30 years down the road. Going to the gym consistently, learning new shit every single day, figuring out how you're going to make more money, learning about money. So learning, growing, as long as you're doing that, it doesn't matter how bad something is in the current moment. Years down the road, it's not going to fucking matter. And the beautiful part about life is all of the greatest things that happen to us in life, all of the highest moments, they would not be that great if you didn't experience the low times. And I'll never forget the first time that I really experienced that myself. This was after I've recovered from the whole divorce thing. I went from being suicidal, broke, homeless, absolutely miserable, bottom, right?
Right, yeah.
Very bottom end of my life.
Been there.
And then maybe a year and a half down the road, I was with a beautiful, stunning model. We're in love. We're out in the Bahamas on vacation. I'm going on podcasts. And I'm like, wow, from back then, like thinking that life was over. Oh, and I had my children taken away from me too. Like back then, that was devastating, right? And then being here in that moment, it just made me appreciate the bad even that much more.
I need to know what God said to you when he saved your life from suicide.
So he didn't really, he showed me something. He showed me a message. So essentially I had the gun by my side, right?
Wow.
I'm like, drank like a bottle of vodka. I think I had some like kratom pills or whatever. So I'm like, just completely out of it. I'm doing like my last scroll on social media. And I saw something on there, somebody talking about how depression is a choice. And I forget how the exact message went, but whatever it was just like, it snapped in my head. So like I felt God's presence at that point. It's almost like God put this video in front of me to speak to me.
Wow.
And instantaneously, depression was gone. I just went to the bathroom, looked myself in the mirror, wiped away the tears, splashed some water on my face. And from that day forward, I never looked back. Like I've felt depressed since then, but depression's never affected me the same way. Like feeling these moments of depression now, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm sad a little bit right now, but this is just temporary. This is just part of life. I'm going to be feeling, those high highs again next week when I go to Mexico or go back to Miami. Like life is just all about the highs and the lows. And when the lows come, ever since that moment, I just kind of embrace it.
Yeah, that's excellent. As we're running out of time, I'll kind of sum up what I told him. And a lot of it mimics exactly what you said. I said, nothing replaces hard work and hustle. Some people seem to get lucky, but luck is really created when someone is prepared and an opportunity arises. Find a passion and become really good at it. YouTube's an amazing resource. You can learn how to do anything and become an expert just by watching YouTube videos. And if you're needing emotional help, type what you're feeling into YouTube. You're going to find relationship coaches, psychotherapists who will guide you through these tough times. One of my favorite videos on YouTube, and I have a link to this on my website, is The Chinese Farmer. It's a very short 1-minute video on explaining how when bad things happen, many times it can be the best thing that for you at that time. And I've told the story many, many times. when in 2004, I lost my job, I lost my health insurance. I was refinancing a couple properties at the time because we had a couple rental properties. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. I was making like 60 grand a year, nothing great, but it was survivable. All of a sudden I lost my job in the restaurant business and they were downsizing and let me go. Well, I buckled up, got my real estate license, fixed and flipped a home, made $32,000 on that house, and I did it 10 more times the next year. And I'm like, thank you so much for firing me from my job. It forced me into a better position. So the story of the Chinese farmer really accentuates, about how some of the bad things where neighbors and friends think, oh, I'm sorry, what a bad thing happened to you, end up being a good thing. So I referred that video to him. I said, use those opportunities to learn and grow and become a better version of yourself. You're going to find things turning around very quickly, and just hustle your way up to the top. People will notice your work ethic, and your network will start providing you many opportunities. That's the way I did it, and you can do it also. It's not rocket science. I'm now turning down lots of great opportunities because I'm so busy. These opportunities came to me because I built my reputation as a hard worker and being trustworthy. So that's basically my life advice to this guy who's 25 years old.
Yeah, that's solid advice right there. Yeah.
And that's, it's simple. It's not easy. It's not easy.
That's what people need to understand. But it's not meant to be easy.
It's a simple concept. And here's another thing that I did. So Alejandra, when we got together 2 or 3 months into it, I'd gone from like 175 pounds up to like 196. For some reason, I was just gaining weight. I was becoming sluggish. And she challenged me to do the 75 hard program. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a very simple program where you work out twice a day. One of them has to be outdoors for 45 minutes. You drink a gallon of water a day. You're on some kind of a diet. You choose. I did like a modified carnivore diet. And you read 10 pages of a nonfiction book every single day. And then the other requirement is just take a picture of yourself every day. It's a very simple steps. Anybody can do this. I did it for 75 days. I did it one day, and then I did it another day, and I strung 75 of those days together. So I completed the program. I ended up losing 25 pounds. I ended up reading 4 books. I'm not a reader. I gained so much knowledge out of doing that program. My indigestion and my heartburn went away because I was eating better. My body was nourished with the water that I was drinking every day. And I just got on a better routine. I don't know, did it change my life? Yeah, it changed my whole perspective on everything. So it allowed me to become a better version of myself. So it's only 75 days. And I would recommend people doing some kind of a program. That's the one I recommend, or just doing something to make themselves better. It's available to you.
Yeah, definitely. And programs like that, like, hey, that's good to get a good, jump start into your fitness and health goals. Mm-hmm. But I always like to tell people is to also find a solution that you can live with long term.
Right.
So like for myself, I decided I don't need fast food. I don't need seed oils. There are some things that I really enjoy. Like I used to enjoy Oreo cookies. I used to enjoy Lucky Charms. And I would like to have those things in my life, but what I did was find a healthier alternative. So actually at Whole Foods, you could get an organic version of Lucky Charms that arguably, at least in my opinion, tastes better than the real thing.
Really?
And then same thing with Oreos. Like I found an organic version of the Oreos. I don't think those ones are as tasty as real Oreos, but at least I'm getting some non-GMO ingredients in there. Like sugar's still bad for you, but those are little things where I'm not just so hardcore where I'm only eating steak and eggs every single day, right? I like to have a little bit of enjoyment, but finding the right balance and being able to do a routine that you can live with, like an overall lifestyle change, that's how when you lose that weight, you could actually stay the shape that you're in.
Yeah, everything in moderation.
Well, and another little simple thing, if you're trying to get perspective on a difficulty or an issue or something that you're going through in life, I learned the other day from our girl, Kimmy. Now, I haven't tried this myself, so I don't know how effective it is, but she had something she was struggling with, and it actually was relationship related. And she just got on AI and explained what her dilemma was, she was struggling with, and it came back with great advice. So there's another really quick free solution if you're struggling with something in the moment and you just want some quick advice. Ask. I don't know which AI she was using. Do you remember?
No, I don't know, but
I mean, Chat GPT, like I just have the standard Chat GPT on my phone, and I'll consult with Chat GPT sometimes.
Yeah.
Really helps me clarify my thoughts.
Well, I did a podcast in Vegas, and right before I went on, I knew this question was going to come up, so I asked Chat GPT, what's the difference between a sugar baby and prostitution? And it summed it up nicely and
eloquently,
and and it was fantastic. Like, it was perfect. I couldn't have said it better. So
actually, I have a question for you. You being the sugar daddy, sugar baby experts, what do you guys think is the standard like arrangement relationship? What should that look like? Because I have my own opinions, but I kind of am curious as to what yours are.
Well, when I was married, I was the provider. It was a very traditional role. My ex-wife worked because she loved her job. She loved being a nurse, but she was always worried about, can I spend money, the finances, blah, blah. I said, look, she grew up in a very poor area of El Salvador. And then when she moved here to U.S., she still had that mindset of just being poor. And I'm like, look, you put your money in your account, you spend it on what you want and enjoy life. I mean, we're here to live life, right? So it took a lot of pressure off of the financial part of our relationship. Now, there was some other issues, but it finally ended after 16 years. But that was a big part of it, just being a provider. So after our divorce, once I started sugar dating, and I actually turned into some relationships. Again, I'm just being a natural provider. I gave this girl many opportunities that she didn't have. Now, unfortunately, she didn't take advantage of them, so I ended the relationship. A true sugar baby, sugar daddy relationship is the men use their success and the financial component to attract somebody to give them that opportunity. Then if it turns into, hey, let's do this again, and all of a sudden it turns into a relationship, the man is providing for that woman, helping her. Like Alejandra, I'm helping her through school. I'm giving her allowance every week. I take care of her dinners, her car insurance, her gym membership, blah, blah. And I'm happy to do that. Even though I cut her a check or, Zelle her every week, it doesn't feel transactional at all. It feels just like me taking care of my woman.
So would you consider the sugar daddies, quotes, who pay for pay per meet, PPM, PPM for only sexual favors? Would you consider that prostitution or part of the sugar daddy?
So it's a timing issue. Consenting adults can have sex and it's fine with society. And I can give anybody I want money. It's fine with society. You get those things too close together and they start judging you. So it's a timing issue. We are sexual beings. Women like sex. Men like sex. We like having sex if we're attracted to that person, whether you meet them on Tinder, Bumble, Match, Seeking, whatever. What's it anybody's business if I help somebody out with their rent or their car or anything like that, or provides a financial mean or an experience or a vacation or whatever? It's two consenting adults. I'm not paying somebody for sex, but I'm happy to provide them my appreciation if we have sex. 40% of the relationships, or 40% of the time, there is no sexual contact at all, is what statistics are showing. So there's people like, oh, it's all about sex. No, it's not all about sex. These are real relationships and that are happening. And a lot of times men just like to have a date. Like they're going to a concert or going to a festival or something. They just like to have somebody with them. And that girl is much more interested in going with them if there's a reward for her, or if she knows there's something in it for her also. The girls, and here's the problem. Once the girls start sugar dating, they don't even like going out with guys on Bumble and Tinder anymore because there's nothing in it for them. There's still lots of sex happening on those other sites. So the fact that sex is happening on Seeking versus sex is happening on Tinder is still happening.
Right.
So
that's how I would probably classify it myself. I think my biggest issue with the sugar daddy industry is the sugar daddies who are like, I only pay when you come and fuck or suck.
Yeah.
I pretty much think that's just glorified prostitution.
Yeah, and I would agree.
Same thing for the women who participate in that too.
And we find that a lot. Yeah. And we talked about, and we try to differentiate that. That's not what we're promoting. Is it happening? Absolutely. Is there prostitution going on Seeking? Yeah. Is there prostitution going on Tinder? Yes.
Instagram
it's everywhere.
too, yeah.
It's the oldest profession in the world, right? But we are finding, and from the men that we're interviewing and the men and the women that we're interviewing, that's not what it's about at all. It's much deeper than that. The successful ones.
Right.
But yes, there's prostitution going on.
Well, and the only thing I would add to your definition of an ideal sugar daddy as being a provider, the ideal sugar baby is also a provider. She's just providing different things. She's not providing the financial component, but she's providing attention and time and affection and intimacy sometimes, and building your self-esteem and giving you the respect that men so crave.
There was this guy many years ago. I think I was on Seeking by then. Or no, I wasn't actually on Seeking. I was still married. It was a buddy of mine at the country club. He came to the Christmas party. He had this unbelievably gorgeous girl on his arm. Hottest girl there. Hottest girl we'd seen in a long time enter the country club. All the men and the women couldn't take their eyes off of her. Well, a month later, we're like, hey, what happened to so-and-so? And he was like, it didn't work out. But you know what happened to that guy's status? His status was elevated so much, not only with the men going, dude, how did he pull that woman? Like, what special things does he have to pull a girl like that? The women looked at him also and go, oh my God, this guy's pulling hotties. And all of a sudden the women were very interested in this guy. Right. So just by having put together beautiful women around you, it just elevated his status with everybody. And I hate to say this, but it actually provided him more opportunities they didn't have before.
Oh yeah, women are the ultimate status symbol.
they really are.
Like,
so
really
that's another thing they provide. Status.
That's another thing they provide.
Status is extremely important, especially if you're in business. Like I've been in rooms with guys who have a $300,000 diamond Patek watch on.
Yeah.
But I got two baddie models who are with me and who look at me like they're actually interested. That is far better for increasing your status.
I've seen your Instagram photos, and you do definitely travel in circles of beautiful models.
It's the only way to do it.
Are we misogynistic? Are we, just using women? We're just stating facts.
Yes.
That's just it. I'm sorry, but that's the way society is. You may not like it, but we're just stating facts.
And even the ones who say this type of stuff is misogynistic or whatever BS, they will still recognize that it is true. It's just how society functions.
Yeah. All right. Well, I had so much to talk to you about. We've definitely run over. So thank you so much for joining us. Let them know where they can find you. Of course, on Instagram.
Yeah, so Instagram's the easiest way to find me. You can find me at the James Devon, and all of my other social media links are in there too.
All right, great. Well, if you're ever in Arizona again, stop on by. I have a lot of listener letters and a lot from men who are in situations, and we'd love to get your take on that. So
sure,
we'll plan something next time.
Sounds good. I come out here 6 times a year,
great.
So we'll make it happen.
Well, now you know where we are, and we're in touch. So, Lily, you're jumping on a plane tomorrow.
Yes, I am.
I can't wait.
Me too.
You guys will hear all about it. And then, again, don't forget to come apply for the party if you're interested. We are less than 3 months away, so 2.5 months. And then if you want to be a sponsor, we'd love to have you. So message me at info@secretsofasugardaddy.com. All right. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.